look as pretty as maybe you guys would have wanted it to.
Well, it's a tough game. Going against Air Force, they're practicing the same things every day, every week with that offense. So we knew it was going to be tough. We knew we were going to let up some yards. Obviously, we didn't want to, but that's just kind of how it goes against a team like this. But I think we weathered the storm for the most part. There's going to be things, obviously, we can clean up. Every game counts one, and we got one today.
How much has your depth been tested at linebacker and secondary early on? How have you seen some of the young guys step up?
Yeah, it's definitely been tested. Going into the season, we knew we had guys that we could shuffle in that could play. I think every good team has that ability. We just need the young guys to keep learning, keep getting better, and that depth is going to help us in the long run.
Not that this was a reality check that this team needed, but because this wasn't like 100% satisfaction kind of game, is this good for this team at this point?
Yeah, in my mind, every win's good. Air Force it's tough to go against that offense as a defensive player. You can only practice so much, but on the game days, it's completely different. And for the most part, I think we did a good job. There's going to be little things, obviously, we can clean up, but it's something that we don't face, hardly ever. So it's hard for us to game plan, against that and to adjust to it on the field. But just like I said, in the end, we're just glad, to get that W.
What kind of mentality you guys take into these goal line stands, and how are you been able to be successful in those situations?
We pride ourselves on the defensive side of the ball, especially on being tough, hard-nosed football players. And what better place to show it than on the goal line? Obviously, we don't want them to get down there in the first place, but when they do, it happens. You got to bow up and you got to play. And it's less about schemes; it's more about being tough. And who wants to go put their nose in there and hit whoever has the ball or hit anything they see, really. I think we pride ourselves on that. I think that's just how we play football.
Now that you face that offense, are you happy to see it leave town?
Yeah, we definitely are. It was a tough week of practice. It was a tough game. It was a disciplined, hard-working guys. So it's great to get that win.
You talk about toughness. Were those guys as scrappy as any you've seen in a while?
I would just say they were disciplined. They knew what they were going to do. Scrappy. I don't know. I don't really think of them as that. I just think of them as hard-nosed, tough football guys. They're really classy on the field. They weren't, talking any trash or anything like that, which we expected they wouldn't. We weren't talking trash back, obviously, because we respect these guys so much. So it was kind of a different feel, but at the same time, it was fun.
Riley, it looked to me like one of their last drives, they kept hitting the pitch on that, and they kept going to the bubble side of the defensive end. Optioning the defensive end, it was like the same thing over and over. You guys were in base.
Yep.
It's not like you guys were doing anything wrong there, were you? It's like
That's just kind of how it works, against that offense. For me, that drive, I got to scrape over faster, but I don't want to bypass the dive. So it's kind of tough. You just got to kind of play it how it goes, and you just got to be able to adjust. And we knew they were going to get some yards. That's kind of how it goes against them. You just got to kind of limit it as much as you can, and I think for the most part we did.
in those plays when it's the double wing,